This is the Morning Swim Show for Wednesday, August 11th, 2010. I'm your host, Peter Bush. In the Finis Monitor today, we'll talk to Rowdy Gaines. You probably remember him from last year's Short Course Masters Championships, where he was calling races with Swimming World's own Garrett McCaffrey. He's also done some other broadcasting work here and there. Rowdy joins us right now in the Finis Monitor from his home outside Orlando. Rowdy, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Thank you, Peter. Good to be with you, buddy.
Well, you did a great job calling the races on NBC. Overall impressions of the meet and the U.S. team right now?
Well, first of all, the men I think are set up really well, especially the next 2 years. I mean, after that, it always scares me when I think about Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte and Aaron Peirsol retiring. But certainly they're set up very well for Pan Pacs and beyond. They're just so strong top to bottom. They've got great leadership in those three guys. Then you've got a couple young guys like Nathan Adrian coming up. So I think the men are really set up very well. The women have some shortages somewhere, in some places. But Peter, I think overall, I think they're set up even better for beyond London. They've got a lot of young swimmers, and take for example, a Missy Franklin. She is amazing, and there's a lot of those coming up through the pipeline. So I think the women are going to have a little tougher time at Pan Pacs, but they're setting up very nicely for the next quad, especially.
Can we say that Ryan Lochte's on par with Phelps, or does he need to do more at the Olympics for us to say that?
Well, the problem is, we're still 2 years away from the Olympics, and I don't think he has to prove anything when it comes to the Olympics. He's won a gold medal. I think today, Peter, he is the best swimmer in the world, all around, best all-around swimmer in the world. And I think he proved that at Nationals, and I think he's kind of proven that the last year or so. I'm not taking anything away from Michael. Michael will always be the greatest swimmer in history, in my opinion. But Michael, admittedly so, is not in the best of shape. We heard some naysayers out in Irvine about the doomsdayers of Michael Phelps, but, I think he's going to be just fine. He's going to be the Michael Phelps we all know and love when it comes to London. But right now, today, Ryan is the best swimmer.
I just think Ryan has tried harder since 2008. Yeah. I mean, I think Phelps is just wired to have needed that break. Lochte is a little bit more of a workhorse, I think, in terms of he could swim through all 4 years of the quad.
Yep, you're so right, Peter. And you can't blame Michael for enjoying a little bit of the fruits of his labor over the last 9 years. I read somewhere, I think I talked to Michael or Bob about this, but from 2000 to 2004, he took 3 days off of the pool. He was out of the water for 3 days, those 4 years. And then the next 4 years, he took very, very few little breaks. And then from 08 to 09, he kind of had to stay in shape and really kind of focus on the Worlds. So after Worlds, he wanted to take a little break. And I think that's good. It recharges his engine. And now he kind of sees what Ryan's doing out there, and I think that's motivation in itself. And Michael's always been about the clock as well. So when he can look at the clock and know he's not going the times he wants to go, I think that's huge motivation. So Ryan deserves the accolades for sure, though, right now.
Biggest surprises on both men's and women's teams who did not make the team?
Well, on the women's side, I can think of a couple. Obviously, Julia Smith, Elaine Breeden, Dagny Knudsen. Those are the two. Those are the three that kind of stood out. And I heard that Julia was sick and not feeling well. So obviously there are reasons behind that. And swimming is a sport, Peter, that just chews you up and spits you out, man. The unpredictability of it is just amazing. And, you have a bad meet and it can cost you. And it's better that they have this kind of meet here than they do and then in 2 years. The same thing goes on the men's side with Matt Grievers, I mean, I know that Matt's capable of being one of the best, if not the best, sprinters, backstrokers in the world. He had a bad meet, It's not life or death, and it was much better for it to happen here than in 2 years, because really our sport, and as you know this, Peter, our sport is all about the clock and the Olympics. Everything in between is nice to have, but those are the two things that we want the most of, and I think he's okay. He's okay with that.
Well, you haven't had very many bad meets lately. We've been tracking you, even when you're swimming over in Japan at the Masters Nationals over there. You still got it, buddy.
Well, I appreciate it, buddy. It was a great trip. I love Japan. I have a lot of friends over there. Our company, the Limu company I work for, has a lot of great business over there. So it was kind of meshing two things at once. We met with some great leaders over there, as well as swimming in this Masters meet, and it was incredible, Peter. You just never seen anything like it. There were 7,500 swimmers. There were 5,000 swimmers in a 50 freestyle. I was in heat like 360 something. It was just out of this world. The 200s and up, you swim in the same lane as somebody else, starting from different ends and crossing each other. It was something. Yeah, I had swum in it before, so I kind of knew what to expect. I lived in Hawaii for 8 years in the 90s, so I kind of knew what to expect. But still, it's still pretty amazing, and they're very, very with it, man. They are on target on their timelines and everything. It's pretty incredible. But whereas we have 50,000 master swimmers, they have 1 million registered master swimmers.
Wow.
So it's a big market over there. Master swimming is huge.
Holy cow! I had no idea. Yeah,
it's a big sport over there. Everybody's loves the sport of swimming. I think we think of Australia so much as a swimming crazed country, but in Japan, in many ways, they are very knowledgeable about all their swimming stars and
we're gonna have to start doing like morning swim show spin-offs like the CSIs. We'll have morning swim show Tokyo.
You need to, man. You need to get a couple of those guys. Kitajima speaks a little English. Have you had him on before?
Yeah, we had him on once before. He was in Flagstaff, not too far from Phoenix, training. So we went up. We had to use a translator, but no, I mean, there's definitely some guys around here who can help us out with that. So
yeah, you should, because it's a big market over there, and it's a great country. I love the country of Japan.
Yeah. Well, good stuff, Rowdy. Thanks a lot for joining us. And when are we going to see you next on the airwaves?
Well, Pan Pac's coming up next weekend. That will be obviously on NBC next Saturday and Sunday. Same time, I think, as the Nationals, like 4 o'clock Eastern time. And it'll be a good meet, Peter. I think you may know better than I do, but I heard somewhere like 18 to 19 of the Olympic gold medalists from Beijing will be in Irvine. So it's going to be a great meet.
That's great. Well, we're glad that you'll be calling it. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, that's Rowdy Gaines joining us from Orlando, Florida. That's it for today's show. I'm Peter Bush, reminding you to keep your head down at the finish.